Most of the problems your mechanic charges you to fix, your car can fix by itself in about 2 minutes, for free. I've been turning wrenches for more than 20 years, over 3,000 cars through my bays, and I'm going to tell you something the shop down the road would rather I kept to myself. The check engine light that just popped on, the rough idle that showed up out of nowhere, the hesitation when you press the gas, the transmission that suddenly shifts like it's confused. A huge share of those never needed a single new part. They needed a reset. Every single day, a driver hands over a few $100s for a repair that a 2-minute procedure in their own driveway would have erased. Here's what's actually going on under the hood of a modern car. The vehicle you're driving isn't really a machine anymore. It's a computer that happens to have wheels bolted to it. Your Camry, your Accord, your Silverado, every one of them runs on a control module that watches dozens of sensors and makes thousands of tiny adjustments every second. Fuel mixture, ignition timing, idle speed, the exact point your transmission decides to shift. None of that is carved in stone. The computer learns your specific engine over time and stores what it learns in a block of adaptive memory. Most of the time, that's a good thing, because the car tunes itself to how you drive. The trouble starts the moment that memory takes on bad information. A single sensor sends one bad reading on a cold morning. The battery dips low, and the module browns out for half a second. A corroded connector flickers while you're sitting in traffic. Any one of those can get written into memory as if it were the new normal, and from that point forward, your car is running on corrupted instructions. It idles rough because it's compensating for a problem that's already gone. It hesitates because the timing table got skewed. A warning light comes on and refuses to leave long after the actual hiccup has passed. The part underneath it all is perfectly healthy. The computer simply can't let go of a bad memory. And here's the habit that drains the most money out of people's wallets. The instant something feels off, they hand the keys to a shop, never giving the computer the one thing that wipes the slate clean. Here's what they don't want you knowing. That block of adaptive memory was designed from the factory to be cleared. The engineers built it so the computer relearns from scratch whenever power gets interrupted long enough. That's a normal, intended function, not some backdoor trick. They know full well that wiping it resolves a long list of intermittent gremlins because the car simply starts fresh and rebuilds its learning on current, accurate data instead of dragging around a corrupted file from 3 months ago. I've cleared adaptive memory on hundreds of cars that rolled in with a real complaint and no real failure behind it. A CR-V with a rough idle where every sensor tested perfectly. A Malibu throwing an intermittent code that no scan tool could pin down twice in a row. An F-150 with a hesitation that 3 different drivers swore up and down was a dying fuel pump. Reset the computer, take it for a short drive to let it relearn, and the symptom is gone. Not masked, gone. Because there was never a broken part, only bad data parked in memory. The pattern is so consistent after this many years that I can usually guess which complaints will clear before I've even popped the hood. Walk into most shops with one of those same complaints and the meter starts running before anyone picks up a wrench. There's a diagnostic fee just to plug the scanner in, usually around $137 to start. The scanner pulls the stored code, and because that code points a finger at a sensor, the sensor gets replaced, even when it bench tests fine, because billable parts are what keep the lights on. Manufacturers won't print "try disconnecting the battery first" in the owner's manual, and shops won't say it out loud either, for the exact same reason. There is no money in a fix that costs you nothing. But running on corrupted data doesn't just trip a light you can learn to ignore. It's quietly bleeding you at the pump and grinding on parts that were perfectly healthy when this all started. And what that does over a few thousand miles is something every driver needs to see for themselves. Let me show you what corrupted data actually does to your car while you're driving around assuming everything's fine. When the computer is running on bad fuel trim values, it's either dumping in too much fuel or not enough, and neither one is harmless. Run it rich, and you're washing raw gasoline past the piston rings, thinning the oil film that's supposed to protect your cylinder walls, fouling the spark plugs, and slowly packing your catalytic converter with carbon. And that converter is one of the most expensive single parts on the entire car. Run it lean instead, and you get extra combustion heat, the kind that invites detonation and cooks exhaust valves over time. Either way, your fuel economy quietly sinks, and most drivers never connect those 2 extra stops at the pump with the little glitch they shrugged off a month earlier. The transmission tells the very same story. Modern automatics store their own adaptive shift values, and when those get scrambled, say, after a weak battery or a sloppy jump start, the gearbox starts slamming into gear or slipping on the upshift. Every one of those harsh shifts dumps heat and friction onto clutch packs that were engineered to last the life of the car, shaving thousands of miles off their service life for no reason beyond a computer working from a bad file. I'll give you the clearest example I've got. Two Honda Accords came through in the same stretch, same model year, both sitting right around 96,000 miles, both with a check engine light and a rough idle that appeared the morning after a hard cold snap. Identical complaint, identical cars. The first owner let me clear the computer and take a short relearn drive. Light out, idle smooth, sent him home without a charge. The second one had already been to a chain shop before he found me. They'd swapped his mass airflow sensor for $214, and when the idle still wouldn't settle, they went after the throttle body for another $389. Same symptom, same perfectly healthy car underneath, and one driver walked away out over $600 chasing a problem that lived entirely in memory. Here's the one that still bothers me. A home health aide from just outside Sacramento brought in a 2015 Corolla after she'd had a new battery dropped in at a parts store. Ever since, the transmission had been shifting hard, a real clunk into second that simply wasn't there before. A dealer had already looked it over and handed her a quote for $1,840 to go into the valve body, telling her the transmission was starting to go. That car's transmission was fine. Disconnecting the battery had wiped the shift adaptives, and the computer hadn't relearned her driving yet. I reset it cleanly, drove it through a handful of proper shift cycles to let it adapt, and the clunk was gone before she made it back across the lot. She'd been one signature away from paying nearly $2,000 to repair a car that was never broken in the first place. That's what the wrong move costs, and the right one takes less time than reading that repair quote did. Quick reminder before I walk you through exactly how to do it. If this is already saving you money, hit that subscribe button now. It's the simplest thing you can do to keep these videos coming. So here's the whole thing, start to finish. It costs nothing, it takes about 2 minutes of real work, and the only tool you might need is a single wrench. Park the car somewhere level, shut it off completely, and take the key out. Leave it in park with the parking brake set. Pop the hood and find your battery. You're looking for the negative terminal, the one marked with a minus sign, almost always capped in black. Take your wrench, usually a 10mm, and loosen the nut holding that negative cable down. Lift the cable clean off the post and tuck it off to the side where it can't flop back and touch metal. Now you want the computer to forget completely, not halfway. With that cable off, press the brake pedal and hold it down for about 30 seconds. That bleeds off the leftover charge sitting in the system's capacitors, so the module drains all the way down instead of clinging to the last of its power. Let it sit like that for 2 full minutes. Walk away, check your phone, do whatever, just give it the time to go quiet. Then set the negative cable back on the post and snug the nut down. The hard part is over. Here's the step almost nobody tells you about, and it's the one that actually matters. Start the car and let it idle for 2 or 3 minutes without touching the gas at all. That's the computer relearning its idle from a blank slate, listening to your engine, and deciding what smooth is supposed to feel like. Don't rev it, don't rush it, just let it breathe. Then take it for a relaxed drive, 10 or 15 minutes, a mix of city speed and a stretch of highway, easy on the pedal the whole way. That's the car rebuilding its fuel and shift memory on clean, current data instead of the corrupted file it was dragging around. By the time you pull back into your driveway, the gremlins that were living in old memory are gone. Most people feel the difference on that very first drive. The idle settles, the throttle wakes back up, the shifts smooth out, because the car is finally working from accurate information instead of a bad memory. If your car has push-button start instead of a key, none of this changes. There's still a 12-volt battery under the hood doing the same job, and that's the one you're disconnecting. The one time to slow down and look things up first is a hybrid or an EV. The small 12-volt battery is still exactly what you want, but on some of those, it lives in the trunk or tucked under a panel, and you never want to go poking around the high-voltage side. So if you're not certain which battery is which, check the manual before you touch a thing. And you don't need to do this on any kind of schedule because it isn't maintenance. You pull it out when something actually changes. A light shows up, the idle turns rough, the shifting gets strange, or right after any work that touched the battery. That's when a reset earns its keep. 2 things to know before you do it. You'll lose your radio presets and your clock, and a handful of cars want an anti-theft radio code typed back in afterward. So check your glove box or owner's manual for that code first. And drop a comment below while you're thinking about it. When was the last time anyone, a dealer, a shop, a quick lube kid, told you to try this before reaching for your wallet? I already know the answer, but I want to hear yours. I'll be straight with you, because that honesty is the entire point of this channel. This won't fix a part that's genuinely worn out. If that light comes right back on after a full relearn, you've found the small slice of problems that are real, an actual fault. And now you know it's worth looking at. Instead of a ghost you'd have chased for nothing. One quick tell while we're on it. A check engine light that glows steady is usually safe to drive on and a perfect candidate for this reset. But a light that's flashing means stop and get it looked at. That one is never a ghost. But that free 2 minutes is what stands between you and a stack of repairs you never needed. So let me put real numbers on exactly what you'd be handing over. That reset costs you nothing. Maybe $11 for a wrench if there isn't already one rolling around in your trunk. Now compare that to what walks out of a shop for the exact same ghost codes. A single needless sensor swap with the diagnostic fee tacked on top runs around $268 before anyone has fixed a single real thing. Let one of those false readings talk a dealer into transmission work, and you're staring at a bill closer to $2,310 for a car that only ever needed 2 minutes and a wrench, and that's only the bill at the counter. While the computer was running rich on bad data, it was bleeding you at the pump the whole time too. An extra $19 or so every fill-up week after week for a problem you didn't even know you had. And here's where it really stings. According to the American Automobile Association, roughly 1 in 3 American drivers couldn't cover an unexpected car repair without borrowing the money to do it. So this was never just about saving a few bucks. For a lot of people, a repair they didn't actually need is the difference between making rent and putting it on a card they'll be paying down for a year. That's the real reason I stopped staying quiet about all of this. The fix was free the entire time. They just made sure you never heard about it. So, let's bring it home. A huge share of the problems that send people running to the shop, the rough idle, the hesitation, the phantom warning light, the hard shift after a battery change, aren't broken parts at all. They're bad data sitting in a computer that was built from the factory to be cleared. 2 minutes and 1 wrench, followed by a short drive home. That is the entire fix. So here's my challenge to you. Before you book a single appointment for the next light that pops on, do the reset first and drive it. Give the car the chance to clear itself, and watch how often that turns out to be the end of the whole thing. And once you can clear the false alarms yourself, you need to know which lights are the real ones. I made a video on the 3 dashboard warnings that actually mean stop the car right now. Not next week, not when it's convenient. Right now. It's the one on the left. Click it, and I'll see you there.